profit from the coronavirus? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Today we're going to be discussing the coronavirus and how you can switch around your marketing and your perspective in order to profit from it. How do we go about doing that? I'm going to tell you in just a second, but first, I want to tell you about brianjpombo.com/Amazon, where you can get your very own Amazon proof strategy session. So if you have a company and you're dealing with the struggles of competition and trying to get over the market as it is today online, in fact, one of your top competitors is probably Amazon.com. If that's the case, or if whoever your competition is, and you're looking to get one over on them, you're looking to change things to where nobody can stand in your way when it comes to competing in your marketplace, then go check out our Amazon Proof Strategy Session at brianjpombo.com/Amazon. You can find it, the link in the description. Go check that out. Now, let's talk about the coronavirus. Okay, so right now, while we're filming this, there has been weeks on end of a buildup in the media talking about the coronavirus and how it is overtaking things across the world, starting out mainly in China and going on from there. It's a brand new strain of a common virus that's been out there, but this one is it's a little bit weaker on most people, but is extremely infective. So people are able to pick it up really, really fast. It lasts very long, supposedly on surfaces, and so that's kind of, I mean, you probably already know the storyline. Now, if you're watching this years later, after this has happened in early 2020, then you already know what ended up happening because of it. But it's never the epidemic itself that causes most of the problems. It's the reaction to it. It's the panic that ensues. And most of this comes from lack of preparation to begin with. Because you don't feel prepared, because you don't feel like you can handle being kept at home for a long period of time due to any type of government coming in and saying, hey, you got to stay at home, you can't come out, that type of thing, like they're doing in China. If anybody were to do that, if they were to quarantine you in any format, most people would go crazy. They wouldn't know how to handle that. They don't have the backup, both in food or regular things like toilet paper, which is why there's been these runs on toilet paper. It's become a running joke, is that you have a difficult time finding toilet paper out there because people, it's one of the first things that goes through their mind. Hey, we got to stock up on toilet paper so that if we're kept at home, we can we can have enough toilet paper. So it's comical in one sense, but in another sense, you can see how a panic can go way overboard. It's not that there isn't a need to be prepared. The problem is that most people aren't prepared. A good sign of this is go and listen to the last two episodes of OffTheGridBiz.com. Over on it's the Off the Grid Biz podcast. If you weren't familiar with that, go listen to the last two episodes. They have David and Beth Pruitt from amp-3.net. This is a very specific website that sells materials to help with emergency preparedness. And this isn't just any type of prepper website. They deal specifically with emergencies, whether that be first aid, whether it be, tons of stuff on their site. And they are doing amazing business right now. They can't even see straight because they're running so fast because of the panic that comes from something like this hitting the media and going mainstream. And it's not a good thing. It's not good for people to panic about these things. It's important for them to be prepared before something like this breaks. But when it breaks and that no one really knows how to handle it, even though when you look at the stats across the board, it's not as deadly, it's not as horrible as a lot of the other things that are already out there, that have been out there for years. It's one more thing, and it's one thing that because panic begets panic and people start reacting to the reaction. So it's not like I'm not scared of the coronavirus, but everybody else is, so I better go get some canned food, I better go get some toilet paper. That's kind of the thing that's going on right now. And I didn't expect to go that far into the concept of preparation, proper preparation, and self-reliance, but it's one of the things we cover a lot on offthegridbiz.com because of the style of businesses that we talk about there. Now, how do you use this for your business? How do you profit off of it? Well, here's how you profit off of it. Recognize it. Say something about it. Put out a video, put out an advertisement, put out something that at least recognizes that coronavirus is happening. Why would that help you? This is a concept that we've talked about before, is getting into the conversation that's already happening in your customer's mind. This is why all the advertising around Christmas have something to do with Christmas. This is why all the advertising around any holiday oftentimes will play to that holiday's interest. That's why when the Super Bowl happens, everyone's talking about the Super Bowl. And you may find it annoying, but it's a way to garner attention. People are going to listen because they're already thinking about it. They're automatically going to give it more attention than they would a generic ad trying to sell window tinting or trying to sell roofing. All you got to do is mention it. All you got to do is find some way to tie it back to what you're offering, even if there's no connection whatsoever. The fact that you mention it, the fact that you bring it up, the fact that you acknowledge this piece of news makes a person stop, and they're going to listen to the rest of your story. That's the simplest way to be able to profit off coronavirus. But beyond that, how else can you profit off of it? Well, you may have something that might in some way be connected to coronavirus, like what we were talking about, amp-3.net, ran by the Pruitts, is a website that deals in preparation and deals with handling health crises. And so they can make a clear distinction, a clear connection back to it. And they're already profiting off of that, but if they wanted to, if they had the ability to, they can go even beyond what they've been doing because they have that connection. If you're able to make an absolute connection, then you could put out a series of videos, a series of articles, a series out there where you discuss the ins and outs and how what you provide can either help prevent coronavirus, prevent panic, prevent lack of preparation, whatever it is, however it ties back. If you can show that you can directly help in this type of situation, it might take being creative, but if you're able to do that, that's a way you can profit off the coronavirus. The worst way to profit off of it is to ignore it, to act like it isn't happening, to say, well, they're already paying too much attention to it. Of course they're paying too much attention to it. The reason why they keep bringing it up, the reason why they keep paying more and more attention to it, I know everyone's complaining about hearing too much about it, but the reason why it keeps getting brought up is because people keep paying attention. There are people, even though they'll complain, they are paying attention to the news stories every time it's brought up. They want to hear what the next thing is going on. They want to hear if more people have been dying or if there's just more people being diagnosed and people are getting over it. This is a news story. It's not about the coronavirus. That's not what I'm trying to talk to you about today. What I'm trying to talk to you about is anything that is newsworthy, anything that's on the mind of your ideal customer or client, you need to bring it up. Don't leave it. Don't let it sit there. Don't act like they've heard enough of it. They haven't. Put it out there. Have the conversation and let that conversation lead to what you want to say to them, to your message. Hopefully that's helpful. Hey, you have a great night. Come on back tomorrow and we're going to have another talk. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.